No, I have to say, this kind of sucks. Not the fact that there's version 4 changes, but the fact that I made a top 10 DPS characters in the game, and it was before the changes, so I mean, I have to redo that whole video, but at least I can keep the thumbnail. Anyways, we're going to be going over the version 4 changes for both Aventurine Wayflare and Robin Sombrero. And we have a little TLDR on Twitter for both of the kits. So let's go ahead and check out Aventurine's first, because Robin has both her own individual kit and the light cone. Basic stat changes, which is important. Speed has been increased, which truthfully I think that is the biggest thing when it comes to the base stats. We can jump down here to the skill that now, instead of only generating 2 punchline, he's now going to be generating 4 punchline in his skill. I think that is a huge bonus. We can also see down here with the ultimate, he is now, instead of doing 5 punchline, it's now jumped up to 6 punchline. So anytime, honestly, when a elation character has their punchline increased to where they can actually increase the amount of punchline they get, is very good, because that allows them to do more damage in the aha instance. So that's always very much appreciated. Now we have here another buff to Aventurine, is that now you only need 140 as the bare minimum in order to increase his elation by 30%. And then obviously for everyone increasing, you will further increase the elation damage dealt by 1%. And this is honestly a double buff, so to speak, because of the fact that the base stats was increased by 4. Now that might seem like a minimal amount, but when you take into the account speed increases, it's easier to reach that break point for him just in general. We can see jumping down here with the other traces, we have a damage multiplier reduction is at the start of the battle. If there are other elation characters in the team besides him, it will increase his elation by 80% now instead of 100%. Honestly, that is completely fine given the fact that they did reduce the speed requirements by 20. So I find that a little bit more of a minimalistic nerf, whereas this right here in conjunction with the base speed increase as a bigger buff for the character. Jumping down here, we just have a little bit of word changing, but it's important to note now that the crit damage is going to be increased by 48% after a teammate uses a basic attack, skill, or follow-up or ultimate. All allies crit damage is going to increase by 48%, so that is absolutely massive. Not only does it allow Aventurine to do more damage in conjunction with everything else, but because of the fact that now he is increasing everybody's crit damage by 48%, it makes him an exceptionally strong supporting character. Moving over to the Eidolons, nothing really there. Okay, so Aventurine is completed. Huge increases right there with Aventurine. I think he's absolutely giga strong now. Moving over to Robin, her ultimate, can see right here that it's just slight wording changes, so that is minimal. Moving over to the technique, we can now see that after using the technique before you enter battle, advance action by 20%. Now a little thing here, the technique now gives 20% self advance action forward. I believe that was taken off from the Lycum, but we will get to that aspect there. The traces is we got a buff, not in the sense of increases the target's attack, but now increases the crit damage. We can see here that now increases the crit damage of an allied target by 40% plus vibes times 1.5%. Will I be able to show? No calculator there, but this is a massive buff. Very good buff in that sense, because let's say you have multiple vibes, right? Like let's say 2 essentially. So we go the 40% plus 1, so that's 1.4% essentially. Moving the decimal over, just math wise, this is a huge bonus. Jumping over to the Eidolons now, this is where I am going to have to bring this up. Obviously, we went over the crit damage. The E2 and E1 have been swapped. So we can see down here, E2 records 100% of true damage dealt by all allied targets when using the Memory Sprite skill. Additionally, deals true damage equal to 11% of the total recorded damage. And then you have all the vibe counters, then clears 50%. That has been moved to E1. So you will now be doing more overall damage based upon how much overall damage has been dealt by all allied targets. That's not true damage. And then you will then be doing the true damage. E1 stated that the max vibes increased by 20 the first time an allied target uses an ability that causes Robin to gain vibes within any target's turn. She gains additional 2 points. That has been moved down to E2, while also adding the res pen increase for everybody by 20%. I definitely think this is really good. E1 Robin is extremely powerful now. She does so much, not only in conjunction with her talent, but now because of this. E1 Robin is an absolute giga monster. Res pen changed to Memo Sprite skill multiplier. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go over to the light cone as hers was changed. We can see here that when entering combat, advance the wearer's action by 30%. Instead of 40%. That's honestly fine in you know, everything considered. So out of the changes between all three right here, and then find on it literally is just one word that was changed between these three changes. I mean, the light cone is very minimalistic. I don't really consider much about that. But if we're looking at just base inherent kits, not Eidolons, both of these two absolutely giga buffed. Just quite frankly, changing the 1.0 to 1.5% multiplier is huge. And then reducing Aventurine's like the minimal amount of speed required to start really ramping him up by 20, I think is huge, while also increasing the base speed of his kit from 103 to 107, I think is absolutely massive. Both these characters are very, very strong. If you skipped out on 4.4, it's looking like that was a really, really, really good idea. I still honestly think if you have an Elation team with a main Elation DPS, you can skip out on Aventurine. But I definitely think Robin is the better pickup long-term wise, especially if you can get her E1. But yeah, both these characters are absolutely cracked.